How are you, Safwan?
Let's give 1 more minute before we get started.
What is this shady creek? Oh, you'll find shady creek. It's the one I need to pick up, so just watch what he did. Well, you'll find shady creek. The shady didn't make it better, huh? No, I didn't take you to the stuff. Shady creek. Hey, I told you to take. Long time shady creek. That's not the happening from the
तो पुराना शेविंग क्रीम है तो फेंको नहीं।
Then you find the shady creek. Of course you could come to. Of course you come to. Of course come to. Of course you could come. We found the first clue. We found. Is this at the top?
Hi, Priyanka. Hi, Darsh.
Hello. Hi.
Hi, Priyanka. Hi, Darsh. How are you doing? Good.
Doing good. Doing good.
Great.
Time is up, guys. So,
I think we can get started.
I think we can get started now. My name is, okay. First, let me share my screen.
I did.
Okay. Hi, my name is Aadhya, and today we're going to be talking about the water cycle, along with 2 fun experiments. What is the water cycle? The water cycle is a cycle of which the water from seas, rivers, and streams get evaporated into the sun from the sun, and then they go to the clouds, and then when the clouds can't hold any more water, they fall down and rain, snow, or hail. Okay. The first step to this is the water evaporates to the air. So when the water evaporates to the air, and then the sun turns it into heat or energy, and then senses and the sun turns it into water vapor, and the water vapor rises into the air. Okay. The second step is that the water vapor and air cools down and changes back into tiny drops of liquid water forming clouds. The step 3 is the water falls as precipitation. When the clouds get too heavy, and they can't hold any more water, they fall back to the ground in the form of rain, snow, or hail. The 4th step is that the rainwater runs over land and collects in lakes, rivers, streams, which take it back to the sea. The cycle starts all over again.
So what Aadhya explained is everything that we see in every day. We see, sun. When we have something in our backyard, water gets evaporated, and we don't see that water after you have a hot sun, right? So where does that water go? It goes into that first step of water evaporation. So as water collects into the form of cloud, that is when you'll see that dark clouds, and then as it gets heavier and cool air passes, right, then all that water in the clouds be coming down in the form of precipitation. So Aadhya, what is the next one?
So now we're gonna move on to our experiments. The first experiment is a rain cloud. So in this experiment, we're gonna demonstrate how the how precipitation is in a transparent cup. The materials needed for this experiment is shaving cream, a cup of water, 3/4 at least, food coloring, and a water dropper.
So in this picture, we have shown 3 cups. I mean, if you have even 1 cup, that should be fine, just to demonstrate the theory of how the water from the clouds fall on the earth when it gets heavier. So the materials needed, those 3 or 4, and then
Now,
just as a step to show what we are going to do here, we are going to use the food color. You can use directly food color, or you can actually mix with water in a separate cup, and then use that as a liquid that drops from the shaving cream. So if you have food color, you can drop it directly, or if you want to just use water a little bit, like 5 ml, 10 ml, and then mix it with the food color, we can use that solution also. So and then the next step is we drop that food color on the shaving cream slowly. As it gets heavier, all of that will slowly flow into the cup. Okay, so that is the first experiment. We are going to do that and see what that experiment is, and we'll talk about what is happening there also, how this is related to rain. And then the second second experiment is on polymer. This is not related to rain cloud or water cycle, but this is just as we are coming close to the sessions, I included this polymer topic also here. What it is in this experiment, we are going to use a Ziploc bag filled with water, and then we are going to poke some pencils, and not even a drop will come out, and we'll see why the water drops doesn't come out when we poke that pencil or any sharp object into the water bag. Okay, so let me show what is the this is the we are going to fill the Ziploc with water, and then we're going to close it on the top, and then take some sharp pencils, maybe 2 or 3 or any number you have, and then just poke it inside. Even after so many pencils, you will not see any water coming out or leak. Okay. So we'll talk about these 2 experiments here. Any questions before we start the experiment? Okay, if not, we'll stop sharing the screen and then we can start working on the first experiment here.
Okay. So I filled this.
Hope everyone able to see the screen here.
I filled a transparent cup with 3 to 4 3/4 of water. And now I'm gonna okay.
Want to give a minute for everyone to gather if you are also trying to do it. Okay. Okay, so we have cup with 3/4 water in it. Aadhya, what are you going to do now?
Now I'm gonna take shaving cream and I'm gonna spray it in the water.
That's okay.
Okay.
You see the water, the foam on the top of the water here. What do you want? Okay.
And now I'm gonna add food color.
Wait, let's do it in a small cup. Let's add some food color in a small cup. So Aadhya has taken a cup with a little bit of water in it, maybe 10-15 ml. And then she added the food color to that. Aadhya, can you mix it?
Good.
Yeah. Do this.
Now I'm gonna mix it. And then with this with the food dropper, I'm gonna get the food color in it, and then I'm gonna slowly put it on the shaving cream.
Okay.
I think we have to put a little bit of more food color because it's very light right now. Now it looks like blue.
So think that the food color here is more like a water. Sorry, the precipitation, the water forming in the clouds. So as it gets heavier and heavier, the water and also when the cool air flows, all that color is going to come down. In the real world, it is going to be a rain falling down. So let's see if we see that color coming down.
Okay, is it? No.
It's still not heavy, so I'm going to put a little bit more to see.
Okay. It's
So let's wait for a minute or two. Slowly it
Another
comes
second
down.
clue.
You'll see here slowly it's down. Put a little bit, few more drops. Oh, I see that the color is coming down as if this is rain falling, right? So the foam is like a cloud and the water inside is falling on the earth. So this is just a kind of an analogy on explaining the concept using a small experiment. What is happening is, the water, the color on the top is slowly coming down because of the weight. Is anyone else is doing? Safan, Priyanka, Darsh, are you doing or just watching?
Just watching.
Okay.
We don't have the shaving cream, so we are not doing, but our nanny is picking it up from the store. So we'll do it later.
Okay. Yeah. I will send whatever content we are talking.
It's
Priyanka's
on
mom,
the
we are going
chat,
to,
all the information. Yeah, thank you.
yeah, sure. We'll do that.
Kiva, we did the science experiment too.
What is it? Sorry, I didn't get.
Just said that he was also doing the science experiment. Safan's doing the
Oh, he's doing the experiment. Okay, perfect.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
One thing, guys, is again, it's chemicals and molecules again. Right? So the more chemicals, something, the more this is a little chemistry in this because chemistry talks about molecules and particles and all that stuff. So if you ever studied chemistry, either in high school or if you want to be uh, chemist, this is a little bit of chemistry, but particles usually molecules will usually depending on which molecule and which particle is stronger will make your substance a different color. So chemistry is involved in this a little bit. If you ever get the chance to study chemistry, or if you guys ever like, doing something like this is what they call chemistry.
Thanks, Darsh. Yeah, definitely. There is we are not going over everything here. We are keeping this experiment simple, but yeah, there is definitely a lot of chemistry happening here to see what is happening behind the scenes. But I mean, just from the simplicity sake, we are not talking about all of that. But yeah, Darsh, I mean, if you feel free to share anything that you may I think you have seen some of these in the past and you have seen the chemical reaction. So share with us whatever you learned from the past.
Yeah. So, no, but I mean, like, chemistry talks about like chemical reactions. It talks about like that's what like bonds and atoms. That's all chemistry. That's and a lot of people, a lot of scientists, they study chemistry a lot nowadays because well, they don't really study chemistry so much, but what they do is they like doing this because it's actually very fun to see. If you like anything explosive, or if you loved anything in like movies, even explosive. Of course, those are just stunts that they do behind the scenes, but in here it's something else.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Thanks for sharing, Darsh. Yeah, absolutely. Safan, I know you are working on the experiment. Do you need a few more minutes before we proceed to the next experiment? Okay, we can proceed with the next experiment here. Yes, give me 1 second. Let me quickly share my screen again, and then just quickly go over the steps here. Remove this one. Yeah, polymer, definitely there's a lot of chemical activity when we try to do molecules, atoms, and how closely they are tied, all of that. But I mean, let's quickly talk about polymers here. The bag is made up of the Ziploc bags are made up of plastic polymer. And what happens when you fill the water and then try to poke the pencils is when you stab the pencils through the bag, plastic polymer moves apart, creating the hole. So when you poke it, the molecules around it is actually gives the space for the pencil, space for the pencil, and then the molecules are kind of tightly packed with the pencil inside. So the water does not actually leak when we actually poke. So once the pencil has moved through the hole, the polymer pushes back against the pencil to create a temporary seal with friction. So no, I didn't believe it actually until I do it. I mean, I was thinking actually it leaks a little bit, but I mean, it was strong. It's actually a very seal.
Yeah, and sometimes if you make a hypothesis, what they call a hypothesis with
Yeah.
this, sometimes people hypothesize that if I put pollen, which is like a very which is a substance like I'm going to just explain.
Mm-hmm.
It's a substance that it's very little bit dangerous to use. Because sometimes pollen can also, if it goes in your mouth or anything, it's very the substance could make you sick or
Mm-hmm.
ill very easily. So when you use it, be careful when you're using it. Make sure you wear like safety goggles, or if your parents do it, you find somebody grown up do it. If you are alone and you do choose to do it, make sure you also, I would say, try to do it on a flat surface. Don't do it on something too sturdy, because again, it could spoil all over the ground. It could, especially if you have a big house like this, it can ruin your carpet. It could ruin anything. But getting back to the point, polymer, it's a substance, and like he was saying, if you stab pencils to the bag, the plastic polymer moves apart, creating the hole, and you're gonna see like a bit of what they call friction,
Mm-hmm.
which is if anything, like you take a substance and you put it together, you're gonna see that if there's gonna be the polymer, in this case the polymer and pencil, they're rubbing together, which is causing the friction. So yeah. So
Absolutely. Yeah, usually for most of the science experiments, because we don't know the results, we start with hypothesis, thinking that this may be the right result. And a lot of times it may be right or may not be right. So unless we do the experiment, we'll not know. And we'll adjust our results and based on the analysis of what we learned during the experiment. This is, yeah, a good way of learning hands-on to understand the theory behind. So,
yeah. Yeah.
thank you.
And sometimes hypotheses are most of the time going to be wrong. So
Mhm.
you usually will change your hypothesis throughout the experiment. So you might make one hypothesis and you might make another, and so on and so forth. But the point is, you're trying to see if this experiment, if you're gonna be right. So most of the time you're gonna be wrong, but
Yep, that's right. So moving on to the second experiment here, we have got this Ziploc bag. So we are going to fill this bag with water, probably like a 3/4 water is sufficient. So that's the first step. Are they going to help?
Sure. Um,
One of the best things about home experiments, especially, is you don't always have to get so much material. You know,
Mhm.
it's right in front of you. Whereas if you go to a science lab, or if you work in like those other places, it's much more complicated. You have to buy a lot of equipment, and it's not as easy because you're in a lab and you need like complete quiet. It takes a long time. So one of the best things about having these in-home experiments is they don't take as much time, and they're more easier to make rather than if you were in a science lab. So
Absolutely, and it requires a lot more things than just what we are using here. So we are trying to keep it simple, but I mean, the real experiments could be much more cumbersome and a lot more
Yep.
material needed. Yeah.
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 And there's not many materials involved either.
Mm.
So that's the best part. Most of the materials you can find at your house.
Yeah.
So
Okay. So now I'm gonna I'm gonna stab 5 to 6 pencils in the water.
You can see here, Aadhya has stabbed one of the pencil into plastic bag, water, nothing. I mean, not even a single drop came out and leaked from here. You
Now
want to
I'm
do the
gonna-
second one?
Okay. Now I did my second one.
So she did two so far. Pretty steady. No, it's nothing is leaking out.
Okay.
So this is the third pencil. Can I do one, Aadhya?
Sure.
So notice as you're sticking pencils, you
Yeah.
notice the water is starting to go evaporate a little by little,
Mhm.
right? Guess what? Pencils are made of what we call lead.
Mhm.
So I'm not talking about lead as in you're the leader. Lead is a very dangerous substance. So it's
Mhm.
an element.
Yeah.
So if you ever were with a pencil, and this has happened to me once, if you ever had the point stuck in your finger, right?
Mhm.
If you don't get it out, that finger is now going to be infected with lead, and you could potentially die.
Yeah.
So pencils have what is called lead in them. So when you sharpen them, you have to be very careful with them too. You know, it's the simplest, it may be the simplest instrument to use, the simplest utensil, well, simplest writing utensil to use, but if that goes into your mouth, that goes
Mhm.
into anything, you could die. Just
Right.
saying.
Yeah. I mean, day to day we use it, but I mean, they should not be going into mouth. Either even the food colors, most people say it's not really safe. So, I mean, try to avoid as much chemicals as possible, right? I mean, I understand.
We have to
We did both projects now. So this is one,
Awesome.
the other one.
Wow. That's pretty good.
Thanks.
Good job, Priyanka. Is water
Poking.
leaking there, Priyanka's mom? No, right?
Still, yeah, the first Ziploc, she removed it after poking, so it then
Oh,
we
I
have
see.
Ziploc,
Okay.
yeah. She likes poking the pencils in the water. And also the shaving cream, putting the shaving She wants to leave, so thank you so much.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for joining.
Yeah.
And Safan, are you doing?
Thank you.
Oh, thank
Bye.
you. Thank you so much. Safan, are you still with us? Right.